Hello my little love muffins and welcome to another episode of In Depth, a show where we analyze gaming concepts and lore. Now I don't know about you guys today, but I feel pretty good about myself. Why, you may ask? Because after waiting a lot longer than I really should have, I finally got my chance to play Sonic Mania. And spoiler alert, I think the game is absolutely amazing. Honestly, thinking about it, I'd probably rank this among my top 5 favorite Sonic games of all times, and could you blame me? I mean, the visuals are just spectacular, the music is just amazing, the controls perfect, the nostalgic pandering, you better believe I fell for that, and I fell for it hard. And the story, it's functional. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I have a huge interest in the story when it comes to Sonic. I mean, sure, there are a lot of plot holes and inconsistencies within these stories, but it's honestly kind of fun trying to piece this stuff together into a coherent storyline. Think of it as me completing a puzzle made by someone who doesn't know the first thing about making a puzzle. Now, don't get me wrong, the story in Sonic Mania is not bad. It's actually pretty simple and easy to follow along with. But there were a few things that kind of confused me a little bit, and a couple more things that I found a little bit interesting. So today, we're going to unpack this story and learn about how all of this connects to Sonic Forces, because there is indeed a connection. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to quickly go over the story of Sonic Mania just to make sure that we're all on the same page. But instead of using normal gameplay footage like an amateur, we're going to use these super professional puppets that I made. So here we go. The story begins with Sonic and Tails flying back into Angel Island after what happened in Sonic 3 to investigate a strange and powerful signal. But when they get there, they see that Eggman had also found the signal and sent his elite force of egg robots called the Hard-Boiled Heavies to retrieve this source.
What?
Oh, hey Scarlet.
Did they really call them that?
Yes?
The Hard-Boiled Heavies. Really? They're really sticking with this egg motif, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah. Isn't it a little bit excellent, Scarlet? Excellent, Scarlet? Excellent. No! That was gonna be my preference. Look what you made me do. You need to take a little over easy, Scarlet. No, I'm sorry. I'll think of a better part. So, after discussing it with Scarlet for a little bit, we're gonna go back to amateur mode. I hope you guys don't mind. Sorry for the inconvenience. So, anyway, as it turns out, the signal came from a mysterious gem known as the Phantom Ruby, which when pulled out of the ground teleports everyone, and Knuckles, into Green Hill Zone and infuses the Hard-Boiled Heavies with some of its power. So then this wild goose chase begins like all these classic Sonic games do at this point, which includes playing on the Mean Bean Machine, fighting some obscure characters, and seeing Jimmy for the last time. Rest in peace, good buddy. All of which leads up to the showdown between Sonic and Eggman, who is wearing a mech suit powered by the Phantom Ruby. And when Sonic effectively breaks that armor, the Phantom Ruby begins to react, sending Sonic and Eggman into a place void of space and time. Sonic then uses the Chaos Emeralds to transform into a Super Sonic, to stop Eggman and the supercharged leader of the Hard-Boiled Heavies from possessing the Phantom Ruby. After defeating the both of them, the Phantom Ruby reacts with the Chaos Emeralds, sucking Sonic into some sort of portal as he's teleported into places unknown. Alright, so is everybody caught up? We all understand what's going on now?
Actually, I don't really follow.
Okay, good. So now that we're on the same page, let's look at the one factor about this story that kind of confuses me, but is also the main force that connects Sonic Mania to Sonic Forces. The Phantom Ruby.
But I still don't understand. How did they...
Shut up, Craig! Nobody asked what you think!
But I just want to know... But I can't... Oh...
The Phantom Ruby. Now, as you saw in the footage, the Phantom Ruby is basically one of the main driving forces of the game's story. But what is it? Well, based on the game's cutscenes and what little info I could dig up from the manual, the Phantom Ruby is a mysterious gem of unknown origin that seems to have the ability to warp time and space and probably reality itself. So basically a stronger and more mysterious Chaos Emerald. Now, we know that it can warp time and space because of the final boss level, where time is jumping around at random intervals, and the place is just a floating purple void with rings flying all over the place. As for the reality thing, well, the hardboiled heavies were transformed from egg robos with nothing particularly special about them into supercharged, distinct, and rebellious egg robos. So, there's that. And that's basically all that we know about the Phantom Ruby. The game in the manual doesn't really give us much info about that, which, to be fair, a lot of classic era Sonic games tend to give us very little information when it comes to story. They're more gameplay driven. In fact, other than the manual saying that the Phantom Ruby might have appeared during a sudden dimensional breach, there's probably nothing I can say that wouldn't end up being either speculation or pure opinion. But it's through some of that vagueness that I think I was able to come up with a few theories about how it all connects to Sonic Forces and what this gem right here could tell us about Sonic Forces. Now I know there's a bunch of theories out there about how Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces are tied together, but for the sake of my interest in this video, we're really only going to be focusing on two.
Theory number 1. The classic Sonic and Sonic Forces is actually the Sonic from Sonic Mania.
Now, I really like this theory because there is a lot of evidence to support this, and you don't have to make too many leaps of faith in order to make it seem plausible. Looking at the gameplay footage that was taken from E3, we see that Eggman says that this Sonic is from another dimension. And at first, this was pretty baffling. Was Eggman mistaken? Did they mean to say from the past? Is Sonic Team making the story more complicated than it needs to be? And based on what we got from Sonic Mania, we have our answers, which are no, and oh my goodness, yes, they most certainly are because Sega hates me. Also, it's safe to assume that the Phantom Ruby caused that dimensional breach mentioned in the manual, and the game ends with Sonic traveling through a portal. So based on that, I can assume that this is a dimensional portal. And if that's not good enough for you, we see in the gameplay footage from E3 that Sonic has the drop dash move, which was only seen in Sonic Mania, so there you go. Now the only thing I'm not too keen on is that now we're going to have to deal with multiple universes and multiple timelines, which for the sake of time and my sanity, we're not even gonna bother to figure out how all that's going to work. Also keep in mind that this is just a theory, so it might not even be true, but out of all the theories that I've heard so far, this one seems to be one of the more probable ones. But who knows, there's probably more that you guys may have that I haven't heard of, and I would love to talk about them in the comments below. But for now, let's move on to the second theory that I want to briefly go over.
Theory number 2. Infinite and the Phantom Ruby are connected.
Now, I'm willing to admit that I have a great fondness for Infinite and what his character could be like in the game. So naturally, I'm pretty much digging the idea of Infinite having some sort of connection with the Phantom Ruby. Now, one piece of evidence that, admittedly, I would have never found out about until I saw this video about it, which I'll leave up here in the cards and in the description below, is how the sound effects coming from Infinite in that villain trailer and the Phantom Ruby are pretty much identical. What also helps is that, like with the Phantom Ruby, we don't know that much about Infinite, so there are many ways that we could connect Infinite with the Phantom Ruby. My thought is that maybe the Phantom Ruby was discovered by Eggman, probably through some retcon in the previous game, and through some sort of convoluted reasoning, he used its power to empower Infinite with its powers. In return, Infinite would help Eggman retrieve the power that he needs to rule the world with his awesome power. Is that enough power for you, baby? Or it could be that Infinite and the Phantom Ruby have some sort of symbiotic relationship, and the Phantom Ruby is like his heart or his liver or stomach, whatever. You get the idea. Now, while this theory has a lot more coincidental evidence, it's not impossible that this could happen. I mean, in a Tokyo show from a few weeks back, they said that Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania are somewhat connected, so it's probable. And hopefully the real reason is well thought out and easily fits in with the rest of the lore. I mean, I highly doubt that, but one could dream. Hello, Post Gerald here. I am actually doing this right after I finished the video because I just found this out like 10 minutes before I was actually about to upload this video. So I managed to find this little interview from Nakamura and Ikuza from last week that I somehow seem to have missed, which I'm going to link in the description for those of you who also missed it. And he pretty much confirms from the mouths of the producers themselves that Infinite was not created like Shadow was, but he was an ordinary animal man before he somehow gained enormous power, most likely from Eggman. So the second theory that I just got finished explaining, well, let's just say it seems a lot more probable to happen. And honestly, there's so much to this article, like so many more things that I didn't know that were revealed in this article that honestly, I don't have the time. I may have to make a separate video about that, as well as talking about the new stuff that we got today, like the comic strip, because that comic strip is awesome, but I'm actually going out of town, so I can't really do that. I'm going to try to shoot for early next week once I get back from this band trip, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, I just wanted to quickly bring this up, so let's get back to the regular video. So, like I said earlier, I enjoyed playing Sonic Mania. I thought it was an absolute blast to play through. And in all honesty, I had a lot of fun finding out the connection between Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania. In particular, Sonic Mania's ending. So in a way, I guess you could say that Sonic Mania forced its ending. But anyway, as always, thank you guys so very much for watching. If you enjoyed yourself, show your love by leaving a like and subscribe to become a Love Muffin today. But until then, I'm the Loveless Gamer, and I believe that every game deserves a little love. See you guys next time.